Good afternoon. It's been a long time, seems like, since I've been on here, so I made up my mind I've got to get back on here and say something to you. This is Betty Shannon. I appreciate each and every one of you that's on here, and I hope I can say something today to put a smile on your face. Sometimes it's hard to smile through some of the things that we have to go through in life, but my desire is to put a smile on somebody's face today that needs an uplifting and to know that God cares about each and every one of us. We're all important to God, and you're all important to me too. And I hope I can say something today just to put a smile on your face. I wish I could have had every one of you to go to the grocery store with me the other day because I run into something I'd never run into before quite like this. I was going up and down the aisles, or I wasn't going up and down the aisles. I was at the back part of the store at the meat market looking at the meats. I love when I go to the store, if I don't need meat, I like to look at the meat and see if I can find something different to fix or something that I can create myself. Well, I was in the store looking and I kept watching this young man. Now, young to me used to be 18, 19, and 20 years old. But today, when I say young man, it can be anywhere from 20 to 60 years old, and they're still a young man to me. But anyway, I seen this young man looking at me, and I thought, I didn't think too much about it because I'm an old grandma and I know people look at me. The poor old grandma. So anyway, I was standing there looking and he kind of come over there where I was at and he started laughing. And he said, "You know what? You look just like Miss B on the Andy Griffith Show." He said, "I mean, you look just like her." And I just grinned at him and I said, "Well, I've been called that before." And he just grinned so big. Pardon me, this dust gets to me out here. And he walked off. Well, he brought his wife back to look at me. And by the time this was all over, his wife was so embarrassed because he done me that way. But when it was all over, I was wishing I could bring him home and make him a glass of lemonade and put some sugar cookies on the table and make him think I really was Aunt B. But I'm not Aunt B. I'm just Betty Shan. And I'm just a typical little grandma, an old country cook, and an old grandma. But anyway, he brought back some memories to me, and I'm going to tell you about them. I thought back about when I was young and I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and Mama every Saturday would bring us into her kitchen. She washed our hair in the bathroom, but she'd bring us into the kitchen and she'd turn the burner on the stove if it was wintertime because she didn't want us to get cold. And she'd dry our hair and then she would put curls in our hair. And she used to curl it on her fingers. I don't know whether any of y'all seen them long curls that mamas used to curl. I done my girls this way, as a matter of fact, when they were real young. And I'd curl their hair on my finger, put bobby pins in it, and then the next morning when they get up, I'd pull them bobby pins out and I'd recomb them curls. And they'd make real long curls ever how long their hair was. And I thought that was the prettiest hairdo there was, to have them pretty long curls hanging all the way around. Well, my mama used to do me that way, and she'd set me on a chair, and when she'd get through with me, she'd start with my sister, and the other one would stay in the kitchen till the other one was finished, no matter who got started first. Because Mama would turn the radio on, and we would listen to the Louisiana Hayride. Do you remember sitting and listening to the Louisiana Hayride? Well, we would sit and listen to the Louisiana Hayride on Saturday night when she was curling our hair. You know, it made me remember that when she'd get through curling our hair, a lot of times we'd get the radio down from where she had it, and we'd take it into one of our bedrooms, and we'd lay on the floor and turn that radio on, and we'd listen to some TV programs that come on the radio. We didn't have a TV, but we had the radio. And I'll never forget hearing the squeaky door. Do you remember listening to the radio and you hear that screechy old door? That meant there was a movie coming on that was a mystery movie. Now, I didn't like them like I did Gunsmoke. And when Gunsmoke come on, you could hear him shooting his guns, and the same sound come on every time. And you'd get real excited to hear them programs put out by Gunsmoke and Mac Dillon, the U.S. Marshal. And I used to love Vestal Hagen. Wasn't that his name? Festus Hagen was his name. He was Festus Hagen. And I loved hearing old Festus Hagen. And he was fixing to go down to the cafe and he's going to have them there victuals. He was hungry. And I remember him and Doc talking about having catfish stew. That nearly turned my stomach. I couldn't imagine having catfish stew. Now, you may have had it, and it may really be good, but I've never had no catfish stew. And I thought the other day, I might try making some catfish stew. And then I thought, that don't even sound good to me. But who knows what this lady will do, because she does some of the craziest things sometimes. She'll hear something and she tries doing it, or she'll fix something that she's heard about. And it may not always turn out right the first time, but I'll do it the first time, and then if I liked it a little bit, I'll fix it my way the next time. And anyway, that's why I call myself a country cook, because a lot of times my recipes don't have recipes. I just make them up as I go. Well, anyway, we used to listen to Gunsmoke, and I'll never forget Festus saying, well, there's old Doc, the old Scudder. And I remember one time he said, the old Scudder said, Doc, what do you mean you're going to charge me $0.25 to take this sticker out of my finger? He said, if it was my friend, yo, Scudder, I'd do it for nothing. And then I remember him saying, well, I guess I better get old Ruth and start chasing after these. He'd chase after the bank robbers and the stagecoach robbers and the whatever he was after. If they stole chickens or anything else, he would chase after them, and he always got his character on a mule. And what it was, he would outfox everybody else. He'd take a shortcut, and that old mule could climb them mountains better than the horses could. But it was always amazing to me. He could run a race. Every race he ever run, he run it with Ruth. And it didn't matter if them others was them race horses, he still beat them. But it just brought back a bunch of fond memories of different things that happened, and the curling of my hair, and the stories we listened to. And I just passed away off of all of these worries that I had and went back 100 years ago, it seems like, and started thinking about things that happened back then. And then I got called back to today, and I thought about my man delivered my stove that I had that on order, and he brought it out here, and he told me he had rung the doorbell 2 or 3 times. So finally he called me and he said, Miss Shan, do I have the address right? And he gave me my address, and I said, yes, sir, you're at the right place. He said, well, I can't get nobody to come to the door. I said, well, I've got a part-time doorbell. My husband was an electrician, but he never had time to fix my doorbell. So it's a part-time doorbell. Some days it rings, some days it don't. I need to get that fixed. But I guess I'm a part-time person too, because I never seem to have the money to get things like that done. If I can get by without it, I don't fix it. Well, anyway, I told him, I said, well, I'm here. And I thought after he left, I went outside and I looked around on my front porch. I thought, why would he think I wasn't here just because the doorbell didn't work? He could have knocked on the door. And I looked, and there's so much dust piled up out there where we had our windstorm the other day that, the honest to goodness, it don't look like anybody's been in and out of my house for months because that dust is so piled up. So I need to quit reminiscing, and I need to quit thinking about the good old days. And, some of them wasn't so good. They was hard times during them good old days. But I need to get my mind back to today because I need to get out there and sweep that front porch off where some people will know that Betty Shan's at home. And I need to get started getting my supper ready. I got me some chicken tenders, and I washed them off good, and I put them in buttermilk, and I'm soaking them in buttermilk, and after a while I'm going to get them out and turn them in flour, salt, and pepper and fry them, and they're going to be the best things. And I think I've got some asparagus in there, and I've also got some squash, and I'm going to fix some Mexican squash. That's with squash. It has squash, little onion in it, and it has green chilies in it, and corn and cheese. And one of my daughters don't like to eat that as a main dish. She likes to eat it with chips because she thinks it's a good dip. Well, anyway, I've got to quit talking. I can talk all day. I can call my sister and say, I've just got a few minutes and we'll be on there for an hour. Well, Grandma's got to get off this phone and get busy because she's got things she's got to do today. So you keep that chin up, live for the Lord, keep a smile on your face, and don't spend all your day reminiscing, but take a little time to remember some of the good times in life. Love you. See you next time.